Hey, it's your boy Brandon Finance, the millionaire maker. Looking to make who? You. That's right, you, a millionaire too. And you know what I'm going to say? It's your time and it's your turn. So let's get right to it. So we're talking about passive income today. Many have the question about what's this passive income that you can make between, $2,000 to $100,000 every 24 months. How can I do that without having to give up my time and it being intrusive on my day? How can I create real generational wealth, create real financial freedoms or access points? What other resources come with that program? And we got a ton of them, y'all. So we're going to dive right in, but we're asking the questions or getting the questions that you want answers to answer today. So I got my special guest, Miss Austin B, here to ask those questions, and I'm just here to answer, to facilitate, or give you ways that you can make more money passively to create right now money that can be an ongoing basis of money for the rest of your life if structured properly. So, Miss Austin B.
Well, one of the things I wanted to ask about the passive income is
Okay.
that most people think about passive income as real estate,
Yeah.
as usual. What you're telling me is something different. It's
Yes.
like you're saying that I ain't got to do no work for it.
All right.
Okay,
You got to invest though.
I got to invest.
Yeah.
Okay. But me investing, I'm a peanut as far as I'm a small person. I don't
Okay.
have a whole lot of money
Right.
to invest.
Okay.
So, but I do also, I'm sorry, I do have my family member. I have a sister who
Yeah.
is self employed.
Mm-hmm.
So she got plenty of money.
Yeah.
She doesn't have the credit though.
So we have investment levels from 10,000 to 200,000, and for those who have real financial liquidity, we can go higher. You know, if people have money in retirement funds, they got money in the bank, they got credit card access, they want to do a combination of things, they could get involved. If they have a partner or a spouse or someone that has good credit who wants to leverage their good credit to get involved, and we can leverage the bank's money. I mean, or if they have good credit themselves and they want to leverage the bank's money, whether it's cash or credit, they can get involved or they can do a combination. So some of my investors, they like to use the 0% credit cards because they give points and cash rewards, which is free money to them right now, right? Plus they get my bonus. So you win twice and we build other credit hemispheres for you to be able to get involved in other things that you want to get involved in. So if it's real estate, another passive component if you're going to become a landlord or use it for commercial rental in that regard or different things that executive rentals, so to speak. Some want to invest in life insurance, but they don't know all the details, or they say I want to build compound interest, I want to become my own brand, Mr. Finance. Well, that's basically a life insurance situation, but as I say in all of my shows, you got to invest more than what the traditional premium is to get where you want to be, to see what you want to see. So to make $100,000 for a year for life, you got to invest pretty aggressively. But the good thing about it is that when you have good credit, you can get the bank to jumpstart that. You can get real estate to also jumpstart that too. So you can get income tax free capital, passive income, daily, hourly, weekly, monthly income. You can use my program. So now you got a trifecta. So now you're talking about real growth. You're stimulating growth, things that you have not been made familiar with. It doesn't make sense. Oftentimes I say the things that God blesses us with, they don't make sense to us because we know God is God. We're who we are. But He's given me some gifts in the finance world, and in the banking world, if you will, to be able to kind of usurp a lot of traditional conditional situations in life. So many live based on I'm going to go to work, get a good education, get a good job, and I'm going to live for a 401k and get my Social Security, and that's just well, you see what's going on in the world right now. So many are being impacted all the way down to federal employees, and I've got some employees that people would be afraid to take on as customers in my partnership program up the federal charter, but we just want to create passive income that gives people a chance to be able to live life and not just exist. I've got more than 100 seniors in my program that are on fixed incomes, and we don't impact that income because we leverage corporations, to create tax shelters and vehicles that will allow us to be able to just own our time and then be able to live inside of the tax code. The wealthy live inside the tax code. Well, the tax code was not designed for the everyday working person. It was designed for business owners so they can make $1 million, $100 million, $1 billion, and pay less in taxes than somebody that makes 20,000. So, but you by right have that same opportunity if you take the chance on yourself. If you invest in yourself, your number one asset. So you got to be comfortable with investing in you, because rich people and wealthy people, I'll say it all the time, they're going to invest in what invest back in them. So you want passive income because it doesn't require your time. When you think about your utility bills, well, that's coming every month. It's like a residual bill, but no residual income is showing up. When you think about what you can get from rental income, you're not required to give 40 hours a week to collect that rental income. somebody rents your space for an hour, 2 hours, 10 days, a year, whatever that term is. But it's an income that comes in passively. Insurance can also derive that, or you can derive that from insurance. But my program just wanted to jumpstart it with heavy returns that does not play the market. I always got to put that out there. We're not, so if the market is going to crap, we talk about how to get fixed rate investments that will go to work for you, how to dispatch money to yourself, how to deploy money to you instead of just becoming a consumer, because you consume but don't consume any money, you don't create a real inheritance, but your good credit can create that inheritance to make passive income. So if you want to make an extra 2,000 to 100,000, or if you want to make $200,000 or $300,000 in my program, you could do so, and you can decide your increase. And that's one thing that we want to give people. We want to be continue to be solution specialists or solve people's problems with money. The Bible says money answers all things, not some, all, right? And no matter what your faith is, you're going to need some money to live, right? To pay bills, to feed yourself, and when you're gone, when the good Lord calls you, they're going to need some money to pay bills to sustain life. So what better way than to create a passive income that you could insure over and protect, create other layers that can govern life in a way where it does not require you giving all your time and your entire life to a career that will replace you when you pass away, or when they have a down quarter or change their mind about you because they want to bring somebody younger in that they can pay less to, right? So many of my clients have retired to go back to work due to inflation. They weren't prepared for it. Not that they weren't smart and savvy people, they just didn't see this happening. So if you want to change your own financial picture and now you want to create wealth and generational wealth now, financial freedoms for yourself and for your family now, well, you know what you got to do. You got to book an appointment at brandonmrfinance.com or at brandonmrfinance.com, fill out that short form. That's the most important piece, because now I know who you are, what you need, when you need it. But they have to get on my calendar and fill out that short form, because now we know how to prepare you for where you want to go, because you've given us some insight on how or where you want to be. So I'm Brandon, Mr. Finance, the millionaire maker, looking to make who? You. That's right, you. A millionaire too. It's your time and it's your turn. Let's go.